it's exciting. I know that a lot of movies, especially lately, have kind of taken a small sliver of everything that was discussed in this movie and do a really good job at talking about that. And y'all did a really good job at talking about everything and all the nuances in between that. And my question to finally get to it is, what was that process like for you? How did you end up sort of making that decision and then doing it so well?
I mean, for everyone, I'm gonna say a little bit, and then I'll pass it on to somebody else. But I think, you know, every decision about this over the last 9 years sort of came down to, does it feel like Oakland? You know, it's really like for us about making a picture that accurately represents the place that we come from. And these discussions happen all the time in our communities, but they don't happen as sounding boards. They don't happen as marches, right? They just happen. And so it was about trying to nail the subtlety and the kind of frivolous nature with which people talk about really big things. And so I think a ton of the rewrites sort of went into that, and like Rafa said, over time, as the discussion generally got more nuanced, we were allowed to sort of expand our palette a little bit.
Yeah, I'll just say that I think that in art it's easy to fall into the trap of oversimplifying issues to just think about one thing. And I think that the nature of all the issues we talk about in the movie is that they're interrelated, and that you can't just talk about one without talking about the others, without doing a disservice to what the actual causes are and what the impacts are on the world.
Something that we talked about a lot in our like group brainstorms was to do what would happen if we did a buddy comedy that didn't ignore the world that it was living in. And in giving yourself that prompt, you can't make a movie about gentrification without talking about racism. You can't make a movie about disenfranchisement without talking about police brutality. These things are so these things are so interwoven that simply by breaching one, you tap into all the others. And I think, at least for me, I had a fear of like siloing problems as if they exist absent of the other, as if you could tackle one without tackling the other. And like the way that we've systematically sort of built our social structures to push down entire groups of people permeates every way that different groups interact with each other, and different ways that we have like pending end results of violence and poverty. And so there is no way, like I watch certain rom-coms, and I'm like watching a couple having a lunch at a certain place. I'm like, you're existing in a world that is ignoring everything else that's happening in the city around you. What privilege it is to do that. And so I think once we sort of let the top off of, okay, this is just gonna be, like, we're gonna let this get messy, and they're gonna say what they're gonna say, and they're gonna do what they're gonna do, and things are gonna pass by in the frame that we're not gonna tie up, because that's life. That's where the issue is. It's not getting tied up in an hour and a half. It's just passing them by, and they're dealing with the immediate problems in front of them, and then trying to laugh about it. That's why everything is like heavy, and then joke to relieve stress. Heavy, and then joke to relieve a little bit of stress, a little bit of the valve, because if you've experienced any of the things in the film, you know the valve is humor. That's the only way to deal, is to release the valve of humor. That's why the movie ends on a laugh, even though there's nothing funny about the ending.